Hello once again, my friends. Thanks for making a date. The Ghana Investment Promotion Center says it is considering ways to boost the competitiveness of small and medium enterprises and small and medium industries to ensure they qualify for the Ghana Club 100 Awards. Speaking at the launch of the 16th edition of the awards, CEO of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, called for more private sector participation in manufacturing, saying there is more investor opportunities in that sector. Here's a report by Charles Aite. Speaking under the theme, Industrialization, a tool for job creation and accelerated economic development, Chief Executive Officer of the GIPC, Yofi Grant, said the Ghana Club 100 Awards this year opens the gates for more indigenous companies to compete at par with the multinationals who have long dominated the awards.
We need to transform this country from one predicated on the economy of this country, predicated on the export of raw materials and resources into one of value added and industrialization. And therefore, this year's Club 100 event will be to also put out the message in another way that yes, we are looking for companies that will industrialize, will add value to our raw materials, and not just those who export the raw materials. And so we encourage all those who have done that to participate actively. We're also going to use this year's program as a launchpad for promoting partnerships between Ghanaian industry and indigenous and foreign investment capital. In a more structured way than we ever done before. And so even this event, we would like to put it out into international press to show that those who invest in this country, we see them as precious parts of our economic growth, and therefore we would hail them when we have to. The event has a number of objectives. The first, of course, is to develop a database of the top 100 viable companies as an annual Who is Who event on the Ghana corporate business calendar and ladder. And through creative media vehicles and activities, promote Ghana's corporate capacity.
The Ghana National Chamber of Commerce was concerned about the competitiveness of Ghana's private sector. Frederick Eduamoako is the head of marketing for the chamber, and he shared with Joy Business some guidelines corporate Ghana can consider to boost their competitiveness.
We believe that the Ghana Club 100 is an initiative that is helping business operators to grow and also to be able to expand. For us at the chamber, we are embarking on a lot of capacity building for our members and, for that matter, business operators in Ghana to be able to keep up with the pace and be able to expand. You need to do things differently if you want different results. So our objective is to bring them up to speed with modern trends, international business practices, so that they'll be able to do the right things and be able to get better results going forward.
Meanwhile, ahead of the announcement of a new policy rate by the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank next week, some stakeholders are advocating a downward revision of the rate.
Yeah, our expectation is that the policy rate should be reduced downwards so as to drive inflation, interest rates down. For business operators, we want the interest rate to go down so that our people can be able to access credit from the financial institutions and be able to expand their business and create more employment opportunity for our teeming youth. So we believe that if it goes down, it will be to the benefit of the business operators in Ghana, for that matter, Ghana Chamber of Commerce.
I believe that most businesses are looking for cheaper cost of capital because capital is one of the difficulties of private business here. The private businessman's lot is very hard. They go against very difficult and harsh conditions to grow their businesses. But access to capital and cost of capital is one of those areas where they are even more challenged. And I know that it's one of government's top priorities to stabilize the economy such that interest rates can come down, so the cost of capital can come down and private sector can borrow and do better business than before.
So help us also understand what, various businesses are also reacting to with regards to 3% flat rate.
I think with difficulty, and as I understand it, is because of perhaps a misunderstanding of how it operates. But at the end of the day, the Minister of Finance has said, yes, we'll review it and look at it whether it's beneficial or not beneficial to the national agenda.
Well, let's talk about the country's power situation now. And government says it has taken some measures that would result in a significant reduction in utility tariffs before the end of this year. These initiatives include moving away from crude oil to gas for power generation, as well as renegotiating the cost of gas purchased from the country's oil fields and from Nigeria. Boachi Jako is Energy Minister.
Remember that it is not the government that sets the tariffs, it's PURC. So we have to take our levies out to allow PURC to reduce the tariffs. It was a marginal step, but we intend to do even more. The first thing we have to look at is looking at the tariff structure itself. Right now, we have a very convoluted tariff structure where the lifeline, then there is 51 to 300, you pay one step, 301 to 600, you pay another, and then above 600, you pay a different rate. We think that it's convoluted for a number of reasons. One is that in our country, a lot of people live in what we call compound houses, and they share 1 meter. So all the poor folk who live in a compound house of, say, 10 or 12 families, sharing 1 meter will automatically put them collectively in the highest, above in the higher tariff bracket, which is not reflective of what they are consuming as individual families. So what we are now looking to do is to flatten the tariff rate so that you have the lifeline, and after the lifeline, it is a flat rate for whatever you consume. That will work for the compound houses, that will work for industry. And it will have the effect of removing the punitive steps built into the tariff structure.
While still in the energy sector, Ghana will develop a publicly available petroleum register containing full text of all petroleum agreements, licenses, permits, and authorizations by end of 2017. That's according to the Deputy Minister of Energy in charge of petroleum, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, at the ongoing Africa Open Data Conference in Accra. The move is to provide clarity on the Petroleum Exploration and Production Act 2016, which mandates a register to be kept and be accessible. Mr. Amin Adam is convinced that this will strengthen the fight for an effective beneficial ownership in the bid to address corruption in the sector.
Now we have taken a decision that the Petroleum Register, which is required to be set up under Section 56 of the law of Act 919, should be established, where all the contracts will be published there.
Dr. Amin Adam also revealed value for money audits at the procurement division to deepen contract transparency in the sector.
So we have soon resolved that. Apart from providing this information, we must have a portal within the register where the primary contracts can be downloaded by citizens wherever you find yourself. So that is the understanding we have reached at the moment. There is an additional portal they are doing, which is through their relationship with the EITI, and that is the repository, the data repository, similar to what we have in the mining sector, where data on production, well information, pricing, lifting, production, and even the expenditure of the revenue that is generated from the exploitation of oil. So we are going to have two portals going side by side so that people should be able to link what they see in the contracts when disclosed on the register with the data that is published on the data repository to be able to reconcile whether we are disclosing the real amount of revenue due the state, whether the state share of oil corresponds with what is negotiated in the contract.
Meanwhile, there are concerns about the clarity of some aspects of the Petroleum Exploration and Production Law. Co-chair of the Ghana Extractive Industry and Transparency Initiative, Dr. Steve Mantiel, believes this could breed corruption in the industry if not checked.
There are also a certain trend which I had hoped that the EMP Act, Act 919, was going to address. A tendency for Ghanaian private sector and individuals to hold a certain small percentage in the number of petroleum contracts. We saw that in the case of the Cosmos contract, where the EO group was assigned some 3.5% stake in Cosmos, even at the time when the company, EO group, was non-existent. We also saw Sabre Oil also being assigned some 4% in the Tallow contract. Later, we were to hear about a certain Joe Ofori, who was assigned some 2% in Afrin and all that. Of course, some have argued that this can be treated as sweat equity because these individuals facilitate the entrance of these companies into our upstream oil sectors. But the fact is that we need to set the rules clearly and transparently for how sweat equity is to be treated. Otherwise, it becomes also a cover for negotiating some stake for the ruling government, which for me amounts to a clear case of corruption. And so there are issues.
Now, the managing director of PUMA Energy, Miles Bouvier-Bird, has advocated a full deregulation of the petroleum downstream petroleum sector soon to enhance consumer interest. PUMA Energy Ghana has been awarded the 2016 Best Price Oil Marketing Company. The Chamber of Petroleum Ghana, COPEG GH, rolled out the award scheme to recognize deserving oil marketing companies for their diverse roles in serving Ghanaian consumers.
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana, COPEG, awarded PUMA Energy the Best Price Marketing Company out of 3 nominated companies with lower fuel prices consistently. Executive Secretary of the Chamber, Duncan Amwa, presented a plaque to the company for their success and congratulated the Managing Director on his commitment in seeking consumers' interest through offering cheaper rates. The Managing Director of PUMA, Miles Bird, praised Ghana's deregulation policy, which he noted is enhancing competition in the sector.
We support deregulation. Competition's healthy. Competition creates efficiency, it creates better standards, creates better quality, and eventually competition will lead to consolidation, and consolidation brings with it a better outcome for the consumer. So we think deregulation is important. I'd encourage the regulator to not lose focus and not lose confidence in deregulation, to continue with deregulation, to make sure it's fully deregulated. I feel that we're perhaps halfway there on deregulation. I'd like to see deregulation continue.
Miles Bird said despite the relatively low market share currently, the company is offering good and quality service to grow the market in future.
PUMA Energy Distribution Ghana's market share is 4.6%. And now that market share is not just retail or filling stations, it includes all downstream or OMC activities. There's no official data published on retail-only market share. We believe our retail market share to be in the order of around 2 to 3%. So it's only very small, but we've only just begun in Ghana. We've been operating as PUMA now for just over 1 year. So we obviously would like to see the market share grow in the coming years. But look, the performance has been good. Our business is growing, and we believe it's because of the offer we give our customers.
GOIL is now the market leader in the downstream sector.
Now, climate change and its negative impact on the environment have become too real. Economies, especially in the Western world, have been exploring ways to curb the threat posed by climate change. Seeing as little is being done in Africa, non-bank financial institution African Guarantee Fund is spearheading a campaign to extend more support to climate-focused small and medium enterprises in Ghana. CEO of the fund, Felix Bikpo, has been speaking to Joy Business ahead of a Green Finance Conference set to be held in Accra later this year.
We all know that if you don't do anything about the green, it will affect our life, in fact, for the coming years. We can grow the SME, we can give you a job to your brothers and all of that. If there is no life, it doesn't make sense. We need to find a way to save our life, and climate change is an issue. What EGF is trying to do is now to help the SME to get the right technology, the type of technology that can help us to save our climate, to change the climate positively. That's what we are doing. So anytime an SME is acquiring this type of investment, green climate investment, green, let's put it, green technology, our support is bigger than what we used to do in terms of pricing, capacity building, in terms of know-how. This is what we do. So we want to encourage the SME to do it. We want to encourage the banks to finance more business that are climate change oriented than any other.
Senior Minister Yao Safo is insisting the over $15 billion financial assistance extended to Ghana by the Chinese government is the best deal to support government's industrialization drive. He re-emphasized the deal is a new concessional model being adopted by government to replace the traditional ways of sourcing for funds for state projects. There is more in the following report. According to Yao Osafo, currently Ghana does not have the capacity to borrow, especially under some of the conditions given under the International Monetary Fund bailout agreement. This, he noted, required other innovative means of raising funds for the country. Government in the past months has come under several criticisms over the Chinese deal, with the minority side describing it as a loan.
If we can convert 10 billion in some type of exchange to exploit the 460 billion, what is wrong with it? It will give us a very integrated aluminum ingot, aluminum complex, one of the latest in the world, and create thousands of employment and change the industrial landscape of Ghana. And therefore, we are going to do exactly that. We won't borrow. We'll find a way of finding resources to develop it by exchanging parts of those things down there for development.
Yao Osafo was speaking at the launch of a book authored by Dr. Ishmael Yamson titled Africa in Search of Prosperity. The book covers economic development, business, finance, and economic growth. On his path, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia reiterated government's commitment to cap the debt to GDP ratio at 5% annually. According to him, plans are underway to present the relevant laws to Parliament as part of initiatives to deal with the country's rising debt.
This issue of reversibility, we have to address it. There is dance of one step forward, two steps backwards. As a country, we have to address it. And so we are going to propose a law this year, in the next few months, and pass it, of course, before the budget, that we cap the deficit by law to no more than 5% of GDP in any year. And this is not because somebody says you should do it. No, nobody has said you should do it, but it's because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do for our country and for the future of our country.
Meanwhile, Dr. Ishmael Yamson told Joy Business the challenges faced by managers of the economy in the last few years inspired the book.
I have been in the corporate world for about 50 years. During those years, I've actually had something to do with government, not as a politician, but as a private sector person helping to develop this country. And have seen Ghana take one step forward and 3 steps backwards. As the Vice President said, the reversibility syndrome. And it has worried me for many years.
The book was edited by Ivor Ajimandia and Bill Populampo. Over 8,000 artisans and vocational skill trainees are to receive support in a special program by the Council for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. The joint initiative under the Ghanaian-German Financial Corporation will see beneficiaries upgrade their knowledge and skills to meet international standards and make them competitive on the international scene. Nana Sensu Mensah reports.
The basic scope of the project is to equip the private sector to be able to create jobs and drive the national economy.
All the best.
Here is Dr. Yao Osai Aduchum at the launch of the program in Kumasi.
The GTV is being rolled out in 4 regions, after which, based on a successful pilot, it will be implemented nationwide. The regions for this pilot include Ashanti, Volta, Greater Accra, and Northern Region. The projects will focus on providing training for master craftspersons and apprentices who work in the following areas: cosmetology, consumer electronics, automotive repair, welding, tailoring, and dress-making sectors. The initiative by the government of Ghana further epitomizes its advanced commitment to making education, especially technical and vocational education, attractive and accessible to all Ghanaians. We strongly believe and affirm that technical and vocational education is the driving force of our industrial and economic development.
Facilitators at the forum were upbeat improved skills and capacity of the youth from such projects will reduce overdependence on government for work. Grace Ame Obeng is Chief Executive of FC Group of Companies.
And so for me, this project is a heartwarming one. It's been long overdue. The trade associations are very grateful. The schools are very grateful because it's going to fill our classes and we are going to deliver quality training because there's going to be serious monitoring and evaluation at the end of the program.
Kumasi Metropolitan Chief Executive Osai Bienchi pledged the Assembly's support to make the project successful.
It is therefore not surprising that COVID decided to hold this event in Kumasi. Nana Chairman, the project is also coming at a time when most artisans are lacking modern skills to remain competitive and productive in this fast-moving, technology-driven world. This is therefore a great opportunity to develop the skills of our artisans so that they can be innovative and competitive in their respective industries. Ladies and gentlemen, we wholeheartedly embrace these projects into Kumasi. I wish to assure governments of the unflinching support of Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly towards ensuring that our artisans benefit tremendously from the projects.
Some technical and vocational apprentices at the launch shared their excitement.
So it is also going to help those who are already trained. They would come in and then they would study. They will come back to the school and then come back to the training institutions and study so that they can standardize their level of delivery. That's for the trainees, the trainers to the trainees. And for the trainees also, it will create more job opportunities for them.
Nanasa Sumensa reporting.
You're watching Business Live. Our interview of the day is coming up after this short break.
Interview of the day.
Now, the Fisheries Commission has hinted that it will be coming out with specific measures to make the industry competitive on the world market. The Greater Accra Regional Director of the Commission, John Scott, tells Joy Business fisherfolk across the country are currently undergoing a sensitization program on the best and safe ways of embarking on fishing activities. This, according to him, will avert a shortfall in the production of fish by the end of the year.
There are two basic ways to make sure that we don't fall back into the yellow zone, which was slapped on Ghana, is to increase the sensitization of our fishers and then also to enhance the enforcement of the fisheries laws.
So how much are we losing in the wake of this very ban from EU markets in terms of the money?
Yeah, we normally export over the of I think, $1 million of fishery products to EU market. And they are our main partners in the fisheries trade. So if EU slaps any ban on Ghana importation, or is it exportation of fishery products to EU, then virtually every fish that we harvest from our water, then it means we have to eat it alone. We have to eat it without making any income, any contribution to GDP of the nation.
All right. Climate change is one of the top issues that has ravaged the world as we speak today. Ghana is no exception. How is this affecting the fish stock here in Ghana?
Yeah, climate change is a global effect. We are losing a lot because it affects the fishery stock or the fish stock. If anything which affects your fish stock, it means you have less to harvest. Therefore, the annual production of fish will definitely reduce.
Interview of the day.
And thanks for watching our program tonight. My name is Daryl Kwao. We are back same time tomorrow.